Hello, and welcome back to another YouTube video filmed in a nondescript room. I'm your host, someone who's going to talk about children's media because I'm not qualified to talk about anything more serious than that. Here's something I like to remind myself, and you fellow narrative makers, you huddle in close and listen good. Nothing you ever make will be original. It doesn't matter how much work you put into it. It doesn't matter what you're trying to say, someone's already said it. And any character or setting you make is going to be riddled with tropes. Okay, I know, shh. I know, I slapped you in the face, but now I can caress you in the face. And okay, listen in close. You don't have to say something new. You just have to say something old in a new way. And that is why writers study mythology. I cracked it. You know how many books are published every year? 1 million. And if you count self-published books, that number goes up to 4 million books. That is so many books. It's too many books to rate, actually. That's why there's no rating system for books. There are simply too many of them written every year. So good luck for our novels. We have an absolute glut of stories. Can you imagine how difficult it must have been to spread stories around in ancient times? There's no literacy, so you have to remember everything, which might not be too bad considering you don't have much to distract yourself with, but you can only remember so much and your descendants are very likely going to be choosy. And then if your story does get remembered, then you have to hope and pray that someone way down the line is going to take the long, intensive, and expensive process to scribe it all down on an expensive piece of parchment. That piece of parchment will be protected and recopied for thousands of years until this sexy machinery gets developed. Come on. When you look at this, don't you want to just use its little crank? But once that bad boy, the printing press, is up and going, it's so simple a gang of Revolutionary era children can make a newspaper. Preservation gets a little bit easier after this, and now we have the internet, which may or may not be great for preservation. We don't know. The internet's only been around for 40 years. We are solidly in the computer stone age. If a mythology makes it all the way from ancient times up until now, the effort that it took for people to preserve it for that long, that alone makes it priceless. So let's use it to make kids' TV. I am convinced that the writers for My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic were aware of Proto-Indo-European mythology. Okay, cool. What's Proto-Indo-European mythology? Okay, so Proto-Indo-European, or PIE, is the hypothetical language that is the mother language for all Indo-European languages from regions like this. Proto-Indo-European mythology is the hypothetical mythology that's been compiled by comparing mythologies from all of those Indo-European cultures, finding the similar motifs and themes, and then combining them into one overarching story. You know what the Proto-Indo-Europeans really liked? Horses. Horses are very important to Proto-Indo-European mythology. Many of the gods are connected with horses, have horses as their comrades. Sometimes when a hero got to an important part of the story, his horse would actually speak to him. They were combined, they were one. There are twin gods who ride on horse-drawn chariots who are responsible for the movement of the dawn and the sun. And in My Little Pony, there are twin gods who ride on horse-drawn chariots who are responsible for the dawn and the sun. There's the story of one twin killing another twin in order to form the world. And in My Little Pony, there is a sister who exiles her other sister in order to save the world. The Proto-Indo-Europeans believed that the king was intrinsically connected to the land, and that he represented a union between the three social classes of laborers, warriors, and priests. An alicorn is the ruler of the land because she is intrinsically connected to the three races of Earth Pony, Unicorn, and Pegasus. This is pretty good storybook level mythology. I guess it was educational, after all. Now, they did not maintain this for very long. The show pretty quickly just turns into Monster of the Week mythology soup. But you could make an argument that they started at the source and they're now spreading out from there, so there's a little bit of thematic consistency. Those core themes especially around the leadership figures of the king being connected to the land, representing all three social classes. That's pie. That's pie, baby. That's sky god worshipping, cereal growing, kin keeping pie. It sounds delicious. Pie. Juices on my chair. Oh, it's good. Well, that was a high commitment bit. But you know what they say, high stakes means high reward, and I got an apple pie out of it, so 3 hours well spent. I'm gonna leave it here, which is probably an awful place to keep it, because my dog will go after it. These themes are common across many stories, and that's to be expected. Pie is the theoretical mommy for all of these different mythologies, so it's very possible that the writers just compiled all of these by accident. Even if that's the case, though, it's still kind of impressive that their finger was so close to the pulse of mythology that they accidentally got to the source. This may contribute to why so many people thought Friendship is Magic had this amazing world building. I personally don't think it does, but I can see why someone might think that. Friendship is Magic has this way of gesturing at many different ideas that are honestly as old as storytelling itself. We crave something that only the oldest stories can satisfy. Love and sacrifice are so integral, so paramount, that we will cling to those themes even when they're packaged in marketing for candy-colored horses. Mythology connects you to what people have fought for and wanted and built their lives off of for thousands of years. Mythology has power. Mythology has power for marketing, and it's been used that way for thousands of years. What's the difference between a really expensive figurine and an ancient idol? I'm not talking about toys, those are meant for children to play with. Those other two, though, those are different. Maybe being a brony is part of the collective unconscious. You know? You can tell a lot about a woman by the way she talks about plastic horses. What you know about me is, I can turn anything into Christian propaganda. What can I say? We're the world's best appropriators. Okay, you were very patient. You can have a piece of pie. Sit down. Get your napkin on your lap. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, my husband and I have a podcast called I Opine. Our first episode is on Christian counseling, and if this episode was too Christian positive, come be Christian negative with us for a little bit. We are not pro-biblical counseling. I'll give you that sneak peek. I'm gonna come around with the pie. You get a good slice, all right? You can have a big one. You were good. You can have a big one. That's an all-butter crust. We don't do vegetable oil in this house. I'm not going to tell you all the normal YouTube garbage because you know how YouTube works. I'm just going to offer you a slice of pie and hope you have a great day. Maybe you'll get to touch a horse. If you do, touch it on the neck, not on the face. They don't like it on the face. Bye!